Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview, the FA Cup third round away to Hull City in a potentially tricky tie. Certainly, the BBC think it's a tricky tie. They're looking at this one thinking that'll do us. Out of form Everton versus anybody away from Goodison. Throw it on TV. Saturday night, 5:30. Forget about Superman and Lois. This is the big one for them.
The big one.
Forget about, anything else that's on at 5:30.
19th place.
Pointless.
Versus 15th.
Quite literally pointless. Yeah, it does. From the outside, looking from the outside, it does scream upset, this game, doesn't it? If you're on the outside looking in.
If you're on the inside.
On the inside.
This isn't our first rodeo.
It's definitely not our first rodeo.
I mean? Saturday night, FA Cup.
Yeah.
Against lower league opposition who was struggling. We've been here before.
We have.
As Marco Silva will testify. A very banana skin looking game. Yeah. Even with Hull struggling a little bit themselves and injuries and stuff. The way Everton are defending at the moment, I think anyone gives Everton a game at the minute. And that's the first problem to solve for the manager. We keep giving away ridiculous goals, and what you would think of in these kind of games is keep it tight, don't give away silly free kicks. These will be strong offset plays. All the things Everton are very good at is we continue to concede goals from set plays, and we did last week. And if you're Hull, that's what you'd be working on this week.
Definitely, that's 100%. You'd be coaching them all week on the basics of getting a ball into the box, into the right areas,
attacking the area,
getting the nick in the front post to the back post, because we seem to love that one, don't we? That's what you'd be working on, and listen, of course, it's when you're flying, you look at these games and you think, crack at this one, good game,
keep momentum going, yeah.
But when you're down there and you are losing games, you do look at these games and it gives the opposition hope. And it doesn't matter how we've seen it. We went to Huddersfield, struggled. Went to QPR, went out, and now we've got another away game against the Championship team, and
in a game that goes to penalties.
In a game that goes to penalties as well, yeah. So it's not even like if we got a draw, it would be fine. Bring it back to Goodison. Goes to penalties now. It has to be settled on the day, and Everton have got to be. Obviously, you've got to have the right mindset. Got to approach it like this could kickstart the season. Because otherwise, if you go out the FA Cup in the third round, to anybody, suddenly you're looking at the rest of the season, the hope trains out of you if it's just about, again, then surviving, isn't it?
This used to be the kickstarter, didn't it?
Yeah, of course it did. Of course it did. And, listen, it's funny because I go back to when we last won it. And it was weird the way it became like the Jekyll and Hyde. Almost like in the league, we were the dogs of war, but in the FA Cup, we had like a little bit of something about us, a little bit of freedom to play football. Like Van der Slimpar started, becoming a bit more elevated, and as the season went on, we took a little bit out of that into the league, and then the following season, that's how we started to play. So it can give you that freedom but again, I think back when we were in decent form then as well, because under Joe Royle, but it can give you that freedom. It can release you from the shackles of thinking, oh God, another 3 points. So again, it's mindset. It's how we approach it. We have to battle. We have to scrap, because that's what they'll do first and fun. They'll know quality. Is on our side, even though it doesn't look like it. They'll know that, so they're gonna have to battle and scrap for everything. So that means we have to match them first of all on that, and then hope the other things start to come out. And that's where Everton have been lacking, like you just said, the basics, getting the basic defending right. These will have faced, and these will use basic set piece plays every game, because that's what it's weird the lower you go down the divisions, it's almost like the more important that becomes. And yet it's so important, and it's something we're so bad at. Really, really, really bad at both ends of the pitch. And to me, that's like one of those fundamental things that if you work on it every day in the training ground, how can you go wrong? But we do. So
because it seems the higher you go, they become, like, well, not for everyone, because some teams, like West Ham under Moyes, pride themselves on it, but managers tend to have an arrogance about it as almost, it's secondary. But I didn't think Rafa Benitez, before he come here, I didn't think he would be one of those. And yet, I can't understand how we're in January and we still haven't sorted it. There doesn't seem we had zonal marking at the very start for most of the season. We almost went a little bit to like a hybrid, like a part zonal, part man-to-man. It seemed, but now, the last few games, even that seems to be abandoned. It just seems to be anyone does anything. Once we in the final where we did the still, didn't we, for the second goal, where there's 3 Everton defenders holding hands and just leaving the biggest man on the pitch. And if you don't do something as basic as on a Sunday, you would pick up a lad who was the same size as you. If he was just you go, I've got to pick him up. You wouldn't put me on him. No. You'd go, I'll go and mark him anyway because he's my side. Yeah. And that's at the very basic level. Like, turn up with your boots on, you're playing Gundy. And yet in the Premier League, we just go, he's massive, isn't he, that Dan Burn? Good lad. But I'm going to stand here with John Joe Kenny. Yeah. Instead of going, I have to go and pay. And I don't know, the manager might sit here and go, we do an hour set play every day, and these plays are drilled, and yet they go when the whistle goes at 3 o'clock. It doesn't look like. Yeah,
but there's other sides of that though, like leaving a player up front so they've got to take 2
of course,
back. Putting a player on the back post who can see it all happening. Putting a tall player on the front post
and win the first
who wins the first header. They're basics that I think that if you're in a bit of a tough spot, you do.
It's what we'll have to do at the weekend. We will have to make sure we don't give anything cheap away. And because let's be honest, right? This is for me, looking at it, if Everton get knocked out on Saturday, I don't think the manager's got anywhere to go. No, I honestly don't think he's got another excuse left in him. We've had injuries and that's fine, and we've both sat here and gone, it is harsh on him. But we're in January now. If we concede another goal from a set play, and we get knocked out, he's had some money to spend, albeit it's only this week, but I don't think he's got anywhere to go. We've won 1 game since September. So if we then go out the cup, we went to QPR in the other cup. We're in a relegation battle. Yeah. And we're out the FA Cup the first round. I would be saying I don't see how he can survive. No. So it's a big game for the manager this weekend. If he wants to stay in charge of Everton Football Club, Everton have got to go and win this game. And I think he's got to go as strong as he can.
I think he has to anyway, because there's no excuses. We played last Sunday. We hadn't played for over 2 weeks before that. Tuesday, so, and I know we've got a game Tuesday, but so what? We got away with the Christmas period, not having games. So I'd be looking at thinking, I want these players to have a few games actually, because there's no reason not to. They're all rested. Okay, you've got your injuries and situation, but you want the players back and you want them playing. I don't see anything wrong with that. I look at this fixture, I'm not taking it lightly, but I think you should be good enough to beat them. And you should be good enough to beat them and then go and play on the Tuesday and play with at a high level. So for me, there's no, it should be the strongest team. It should be about putting confidence into that team as well.
Do you see Dominic Calvert-Lewin starting?
Well, I mean, obviously there's talk that he's got stiffness from the weekend, so they're going to have to be careful about that. Because I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking, remember when Seamus Coleman was out, and of course he was out for a lot longer, but he played against Leicester and it was an amazing performance. And then we didn't see him for 3 games.
Oh, yeah.
So it happens.
Adrenaline gets you.
You get a few little niggly things, and you have stiffness, and all the other things start catching up, because it's not only that injury. You've been out for 4 months. All your other little things are going to start coming out, because you've anyone who's done any kind of exercise who hasn't done for a while, there'll be a lot of that going on at the moment. We'll suddenly start feeling all these things, and you've got to get through that. So
I think I'd be saving them for Tuesday.
I'd probably be thinking, put them on the bench, and
hopefully not need them.
But if we do, maybe the last 20 minutes or something. But there's no reason why someone like Rondon shouldn't be able to play as a focal point in this game and have players off him.
See, I think it's a good opportunity for the likes of Dobbin and Sims, this one, off the bench. Certainly Dobbin. I think Rondon will start, let's be honest. He come on at the weekend. He'll start, I imagine. And then I think it's a good opportunity for those other young lads to get some minutes against lower league opposition and go out and prove something. Go and have a go. But everybody else, other players, should be ready to go.
So what do we do with the new signings? Both come in, obviously.
I think they both got to play.
Do you think, yeah?
Mm. Yeah, why not?
No, I'm just...
Michalenko, we need balance on the left. So Michalenko, for me, has got to start. I know he's training this week. He's not played for a few weeks. Whether he does or not is a different thing. Ben Godfrey may play left back, or he might try John Joe Kenny this week at left back. But or Luca Dean, but I'm sure he won't want to cup tie him. So I imagine that, well, if it was me, I would play Michalenko with, and maybe look to get an hour under his belt, and then see where we're up to in the game, and whether or not we switch them and we put Godfrey at left back for the last half an hour or whatever. I think Patterson's ready to go. He's been training and playing with Rangers, and I think he's ready to go as well. I think, why not? Why not blood them? It might be, people might go, that's a bit too risky, put them on the bench, maybe, and maybe that's the right way to go. But I think if you want these players up to speed, then why wouldn't you give them an opportunity to get straight in there and play against the lower league opposition in a cup tie? 90 minutes, get an hour under your belt or whatever. Put it this way, if Patterson doesn't start, I expect him to come on. I expect both of them to make the debut this weekend. The manager might tell us differently, but why not? Why not? Michalenko's been training, so as long as his fitness is okay. Would you not? Would you leave?
I don't know, because I don't know. I don't. Patterson, Rangers won't have played, and I don't think because of the winter break.
But he was playing up until December.
Yeah. And the same Michalenko. I'm not 100% sure what his levels are. But I suppose it would be. I suppose it's only because it's two positions and it's two players on either side.
No, I get it.
And defensively, we haven't been great, and you think you're putting them into.
Or maybe one of them will.
But you're putting them into those set piece roles, aren't you? And I'm just thinking about all that, and I know people will go, well, the people who've done it haven't been great. Both of them have had pretty much a full week of training ahead of it. So yeah, I'm sure they're both into consideration. There's things that obviously we don't know in terms of what their levels are. How the manager is going to bed them in. But Michalenko's going to have to be bedded in quite quickly at left back, because he's going to be our left back. You know, there's not going to be... Luca Dean's not going to play for us now. No. Let's get it right. He ain't going to play.
No, well, that's why I'm saying. That's why I think he's kind of probably more important than Patterson at the moment, because because we haven't got a left back. Exactly. We've got two lads who can play there before Patterson.
Yeah.
You know, John Joe Kenny had an assist in the last game. Seamus has played there. So he can almost be kind of kid gloves into the team, whereas I think Michalenko's important. The balance of that left footer over that side is key. So that's why I think you'd try to get him in. Maybe the manager will think we'll put him on with 25 minutes to go, and that he'll probably be able to get through 25 minutes, and it's his first bit of football. I don't know, like you just said, in an ideal world, they both, for me, get game time under the belt. But it's things like the centre-backs. I don't think Brandtwaite's back this week, and none of the other three are really making the case for holding anything down.
Will it be more likely to be, if Michalenko does play, then you've got Godfrey and Keane, haven't you? So,
and Colgate will be
and then probably, and you've got James Coleman as
well.
Coleman
will play, I think.
So, yeah. So, I mean, listen, it's all about attitude for me. It's all about attitude, going out, not feeling sorry for yourself. If you go a goal down or whatever. Listen, they'll be buoyed. I think they've got a takeover happening this week as well. So, you know, they've got the people out at their club that they don't like. So that might mean that, you know, I've seen someone put the tickets up the other day, and there's loads of tickets for the home ends. So we're seeing that. And
I think their average gate's just under 12,000 this season. They're obviously stagnated. They've sold. Yeah. So this is a club that's had Andy Robertson, Harry Maguire, Jarrod Bowen, who've all gone on to better things, you know, and the club has, because of the way it's fell away from what, you know, it was in the Premier League for a bit, and it's, you know, people have had Marco Silva was there, of course. So it's had to go, and
yes, of course,
big Uma, and so it's fell away a little bit, and obviously the 19th in the championship. So,
but they'll be seeing this as a respite. They'll be seeing this as something to kickstart their
season. You beat Everton, knock Everton out the FA Cup, and the same week you get the takeover. You're a Hull fan, you'd be bouncing, going, at last, like bright blue skies ahead and all that. So we've been on the end of these too often, and it'd be lovely
Go
for
out
Everton.
there,
Go and do
professional
the job.
performance, you know, and do the job. Just do the job. Do the job you're paid to do.
Well, let's have a look. I mean, let's have a look how they line up, because they play the formation that we tried in the last couple of games, a 3-4-1-2. Maybe, you know, maybe do Everton stick with what they've tried the last 2 games? Maybe you said it, I think, in something of that playing that formation might be a way how to get Mykolenko in the team, because you know, we can play a little bit higher. And Patterson, and try the pair of them on either wing, and maybe then Seamus Coleman does become the right. Or maybe the manager looks ahead of Leicester and goes, no, I'm going to play Coleman against Leicester, so I'll give Patterson an hour here, and maybe John Joe Kenny is then the replacement for Patterson, or vice versa. So Everton may line up with that 3 at the back again. I don't think we do it particularly well, personally. It's because it's the midfield for me, but then
your number 10 needs to be, or your number 8 rather than number 10 needs to be someone who can do the job properly. And again, I'll look and I think, who do we actually have who can do that job?
I think the Corey can do it, but
then who do you play in midfield? All I'm saying is, if it's like that, do you put Gomez in there, or, you know, Tom Davis if he's back?
He's back, that's
so,
isn't he?
But then you need 2 strikers if you're going to play like that, and then that eliminates Gordon and Gray. So,
well, he'd play one, wouldn't he? We'd have whoever's we've Rondon, and then you'd probably be flanked, I imagine, by Gray and Gordon. I know Townsend's pushing to be back this weekend, but I think that's probably a little bit ahead of schedule. It'll be interesting. I mean, let's have a look at their danger man as well while we're here. It's Keane Lewis Potter, who's had, these are just these 24 appearances.
Sounds like an estate agent.
He might be very good at selling houses.
Sorry, Sam.
He's only 20 years of age. He's got 5 goals, 3 assists. He's averaging 2.2 shots a game. I think overall he's got 6 goals and 3 assists in all competitions. So
chance to make a name for himself.
Well, exactly. He's the one who we'd have to look out for. George Honeyman's another player who people might have heard of. He's played for Sunderland. But Everton, like I've said before, we've got to go up and make sure that BBC are gutted, that they haven't got what they wanted, and try and get this job done. And the easiest way to do that is not to give anything away cheaply. But it's not really been a place we've had loads of success at. You know, remember them beating us on between Christmas and New Year. Yellovic scored, we got beat 2-0. We'd lost another time up there. Remember us winning there in the cup when Yakubu scored. But generally, no, Hull hasn't been a great place for us to go and get victories. So it's a case of Saturday we need to, because like I said before, Everton lose this one, I think the manager's in big trouble. Yeah.
So I mean, should get through. Professional performance, just get through the tie.
Yeah.
Play your strongest team. You've seen what happens when we don't play our strongest team against championship teams. So
because it's desire. Yeah. It's desire. If Everton matched Hull for the desire, the quality.
And don't forget, second half of the season is going to be great. Don't forget.
Well, we're in the second half now,
exactly.
So let's see what he does.
You know, the manager said that. Chief executive said that. It's going to be great.
Apparently, the Corey's got to go 2 more games because the games are off, so it hasn't cleared yet.
The bookings.
2 more games without a booking.
I don't know. It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't really matter. There you go. What are your thoughts on this game? Are you a little bit worried, or you think we should have enough? Would you start the 2 new players? Would you leave them?
One of them.
Would you? What would you do? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget, give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And Ned has done an opposition preview. That'll be over on Patreon, so make sure you check that out to hear what a Hull fan thinks of this game. The links are in the description, and they are also on the screen now. Thanks for watching. See you later.